I was reading about how you started this company, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were at, venture studios and you were testing and iterating ideas really quickly to see what worked. And then I read that you also did this with Stix Golf as well to see, does this resonate with people? So I want to talk a bit about that of how did you go about testing this idea and when did you know? Yeah, what did that look like?
When we started Stix, we tried to learn as much as we could and iterate as quickly as we could, which is easier when you're smaller. But it actually started as you ever heard of PickFu, PICKFU.com? It's like a digital focus group. So you can basically put up 2 or 3 images and ask people which one they like better. So you can use it to validate ad campaigns, logos. You can do it for anything with an image you can get people's feedback on. And that can be completely broad or that can be more targeted. You can target age group, gender, certain things. So we had this thought, right? I'm out golfing with what are now my co-founders, and we were all kind of mid-30s, had been golfing a long time, probably 20 years each, and we all had super old, crappy golf gear. And we could all afford nicer golf gear, but we were looking around at each other and we were like, why are we still using this stuff? Most of us were designers and valued visually appealing, high quality products, yet we're swinging rusty 20-year-old technology out on the golf course. And we're like, why? And for most of us, it was like, well, I like golf and I golf maybe a couple times a month. And that just doesn't justify $3,000 to buy a nice new set. And as I work my way down at all, I really just don't like the quality or aesthetics of these clubs. What I want is something in the middle, like a Harry's Razor or an Allbirds shoe or a Casper mattress. I want something really well designed and functional that's at a much more accessible price point because I don't want to spend more on clubs than I'm going to spend on green fees in 5 years. So that was kind of the base use case. And the validation was just, okay, is there anybody, are we crazy? Is there a reason this doesn't exist? Does nobody want this? Have the big brands realized that people go from a super cheap starter set to a $3,000 set, and that's just how it works, right? I think that there was early on, we were like, is that just what they've learned over the years? Is that just what happens? And nobody wants something in the middle, which is probably how a lot of potential disruptors of the razor industry felt too. They were like, I can get a $1 plastic Bic razor, or I can get a $35 Gillette Fusion, with 6 blades. Maybe they've realized that's all people want. So anyways, back to PickFU, we just put up a few images and we said, okay, here's your starter set at X price. Here's your kind of essentially professional gear set at this price. And being a designer and one of my co-founders being an industrial designer, Kyle Buzzard, he put together a 3D rendering of a hypothetical, more modernized golf club image. And then I did a name and a logo and we put a price on it. And we put the 3 images up and we said, look, we're going to learn something. Either it's dead on arrival and nobody wants it, or maybe it'll be overwhelmingly everybody wants it. And what ended up happening is we captured 25% of that broad market. And we were like, okay, that's something. And then we went on to do additional iterations with more targeted audiences and landing pages to learn as much as we could about what people are most attracted to at a price point and a design standpoint and the clubs they wanted in a set, if they wanted a set, if they wanted individuals. So we learned a lot before we finally launched the product.
You designed all the golf clubs without knowing really if that would be what they ended up being. You and your friends designed them or you designed them?
It was mostly my co-founder, Kyle Buzzard, the industrial designer. And the design he initially came up with, we never launched, and it was super cool. And so one of the stages of validation iteration was, okay, listen, Kyle, that looks amazing. I don't know if that will function as a golf club or work. So why don't we kind of back off this super cool hypothetical design and go with something more standard and see if that still works with some of these other factors in play, right? Price point, colors, the brand. Let's see if without having to go off the deep end on engineering, can we go with something more simple and see if people still respond, and people still responded to kind of the base value prop.
Hey, thanks for watching. This segment was made possible by our friends at Salesforce Commerce Cloud. If you're looking for the #1 platform for all your commerce needs, go check out salesforce.com/commerce. And don't forget to subscribe below and tap that little bell icon so you can stay on top of all the amazing new segments and full episodes that we'll be putting out over the coming year with some of the best and most influential commerce leaders out there.